So, hey, well, this is onto the developmental approach now. This is Emily and Bryant. This was basically a study with small children and based on the Piaget stuff. Um, Piaget was a very multi-talented sort of polymath, I suppose you would call him. I don't know. But Piaget used some experiments to set up his stages of cognitive development, and this was all about how as children matured, they became better at doing certain things. So you had the sensory motor stage, which is 0 to 18 months. Then you had the pre-operational, which was 18 to 7 years, 18 months to 7 years. Then you had 7 to 12 years, which was the concrete operational, and then you had the formal operational, which is basically everything after that, which Piaget considered to be sort of fully cognitively aware. So, anyway, there was a lot of challenging of Piaget's theory because and this study was set up to test this experiment was set up to test um, how right Piaget's uh, thinking was basically his study and information and his theories were. So it used three different kinds of tasks. You had the conservation of mass, conservation of number, and conservation of volume. These use basically sort of Play-Doh, think liquid in a glass, plasticine for mass, liquid in a glass for volume, and counters for numbers. Um, right, the participants were 252 small children. They were between the ages of sort of 5 and 8.5, 9ish. They were 252 of them, each split into four age-controlled groups. Mean ages of 5 years 3 months, 6 years 3 months, 7 years 3 months, 8 years 3 months, and there were 20. Well, in each of these age-matched groups, there were 63 children in each of these, and then 21 children went in each of three sort of other conditions. So in each age-matched group, you would have 21 children doing the standard or Piagetian method, 21 doing the one judgment method, and 21 doing the fixed array or control method. For the standards, basically, they would see the pre-transformation things. So in the case of counters, they'd see the 5 counters spaced x distance apart. And then they would be asked, they'd be shown 2 lines, of 5 counters spaced equally apart. Then they would be asked which line is longer, to which the answer would be they're both the same. But then, which line has more counters? To which they would say they're the same. But then they would witness the transformation, which would be the counters would be moved slightly further apart in one line. So the line was longer but contained the same number of counters, and they would be asked again which line has more counters, which the children would then respond to either the same or it tended to be, it would seem, particularly earlier in life, they would say that the line with the greater length compared to the shorter line, they would say had more counters. Now, Piaget's method, this standard method, was complained about because it was a possibility that having asked the question once, the child would be mistaken into thinking they got it wrong when they were asked again. So one of the reasons they did it with the 3 different sub-conditions, experimental conditions, the standard or Piaget, the one judgment and the fixed array, was just to make sure that it was definitely for the right reasons, and not just because they felt like they were wrong the first time. Anyway, so that was for counters. Plasticine for maths, it was they would see 2 blocks of plasticine, and then they'd be asked which one has greater mass, and it would be the same, of course. And then they would flatten one into a sort of square, and they would be asked which one had more mass, and they would normally tend to say sort of yeah, that one. So there would have been 2 cubes there, and one was flattened. Then for volume, you'd have 2 glasses of water, and then one of these they'd be asked in the standard condition, this is which one has more volume, and it would be the same. But then one of the glasses would be tipped into another glass, a taller glass, generally, and then the child would be asked again, for 2 glasses, the shorter, fatter glass or the taller, thinner glass, which one had more volume. And of course, they would normally say the taller, thinner one. It was tall. Anyway, so they found that dry throat, I'm just talking too much. Yeah, they found that. Check all of this. There were 12 trials in each condition. 12 trials per person in each condition, I think, for each age and each thingy, each experimental condition. And then the average errors would be calculated, the mean number of errors would be calculated in each condition. And then what was done, what they found was that across all the conditions, the one judgment where they would only be, I need to go back and explain this. The one judgment condition, they saw the transformation, but they were only asked which had more mass or volume after the transformation had been done. They wouldn't be asked before. In this case, that would rule out the demand characteristics that, oh, we've been asked again, I must have been wrong the first time. Fixed array condition, they didn't see the transformation at all. It was just, say in the case of plasticine for mass, you would have the cube and you'd have the flat one, and then they would ask you, and that was it. Yeah, so they found that sort of for the fixed array, it was the hardest for people of any age, but they did get better at it at the time. Between 5 and 8, dropping from, in the fixed array condition, from 8.6 errors to 3.3 errors. That 8 years, 3 months. Standard was 8.5 errors down to 1.7 errors. But the intriguing thing is, people in the one judgment condition, as they had expected, did better than they did in the standard condition, going down from 7.3 errors, aged 5 and 3 months, to 1.3 errors, aged 8 and 3 months. This suggested that actually children were better at the cognitive processes than Piaget had suggested. They were being better at it younger. So yeah, that's that. That is Samuel and Bryant, basically. Children can clearly conserve better than Piaget thought they could, and this is shown to be related to the context in which the tasks are presented. Was one of the conclusions that Samuel Bryant made. Thank you.